Sapphic refers to a woman or a woman-aligned person of any sexual orientation who is attracted to other women and or woman-aligned individuals. You might be wondering, what's the difference between sapphic and lesbian? The sapphic definition is broader than that of lesbian because it encompasses more gender identities. This includes people who aren't lesbians, like bi, pan, omni, and polysexual people. While lesbian refers to two women who are attracted to each other, sapphic can refer to any person who identifies as female and is attracted to other women. So a non-binary person who is attracted to women might identify as sapphic, but not lesbian.
This goes out to the other AMAB non-binary people. Non-binary is not just woman light. You are valid. You belong in non-binary spaces. You are not a man. I know it sucks sometimes feeling like there's nowhere you belong, but you belong in the brotherhood of evil gays. Be evil. Be gay. Thick non-binary people just so happen to make up 95% of the hottest people on the planet. I don't make the rules.
Why are we applying a scarcity mindset to gender identity? Like, why are we pretending that womanhood is a finite resource? Like, shut up. Shut up. Somebody else being a lady does not undermine you also being a lady, you weird bitch.
Being demi-romantic means that a person experiences romantic attraction only after forming a strong emotional connection or bond with someone. This connection could be formed many different ways, including through friendship or getting to know someone over a long period of time. Demi-romantic individuals typically do not experience romantic attraction right away or in casual relationships. It's important to note that this is just one aspect of a person's identity and should not be used to define them entirely. Just like with other romantic orientations, demi-romantic individuals can identify with any sexual orientation.
If you're sick of arguing with right-wingers about children getting gender-affirming care, please stick around. This video is for you. The other day I was on Reddit and I stumbled across a post where somebody asked how many children actually get gender-affirming care because they watched right-wing media and were convinced that it was like the majority of trans kids getting surgery. Luckily, this person was open-minded and self-aware enough to realize they should be asking that question. And luckily, there were very knowledgeable people in the comment section. These people provided not only answers to that question, but answers with reliable sources. So I am sharing this information with you. Save this video for the next time you have to argue this point. From 2017 to 2021, 121,882 children ages 6 to 17 were diagnosed with gender dysphoria. 4,780 were prescribed puberty blockers in that same time period. 14,726 started with hormone treatments. From 2019 to 2021, only 56 genital surgeries were performed, while 776 mastectomies were performed. So while gender reassignment surgery does occur in children in the US, it only occurs in 0.045% of the children given the diagnosis of gender dysmorphia. There was also a lot of really good first-hand insight into this process from people who have gone through it or have kids who have gone through it. This person is the parent of a transgender person who was 19 when they transitioned. This person's insurance required letters from 2 physiologists, one of whom had to be a PhD level, a letter from his doctor, a letter from his endocrinologist, and then they allowed him to start testosterone. Then he had a mastectomy, then he had his ovaries removed. By the way, the insurance did not cover those surgeries. The parent goes on to say that this surgery basically saved this child's life. This person is pointing out that even cis kids have had puberty blockers used for decades because some kids develop too quickly. The person below them pointed out that even cis women have vaginoplasties and dilate for their pelvic floor muscles. They also pointed out that cis men often need mastectomies for gynecomastia. These have never been controversial medical treatments until now. When it comes to plastic surgery, just for the sake of plastic surgery, that also happens in cis kids. In 2011, adolescents under 18 years of age accounted for 4,830 breast augmentations. Point being, the rhetoric you're seeing from the right is purely hate-filled propaganda.
Oh, I love when it's just us girls hanging out. You know, because, like, despite being non-binary, like, you're still a woman, you know what I mean? No, I'm not. But, like, you have a vagina, so, like, it's just us gallies. What? Well, like, you're, like, a biological woman, right? What is the implication of biological woman? Well, you were born a woman because you have, like, boobs and a vagina, right? Nobody's born with boobs. That's not a thing. You're completely ignoring my point. You're a biological woman still. I feel like you're forcing a label onto me right now that I'm not comfortable with. I thought you were a feminist. How can you, like, disavow womanhood? I don't know, that word just, it don't feel right to me. Like, it's not mine. It doesn't feel like me. Wow, you really let the patriarchy get in your head like that? No, I've just been pretty consistent my entire life in being like, I'm just a human dude doing human things. But, like, as a woman? No!
Uranic refers to an individual who is attracted to both non-binary and male genders. It can also be described as the attraction to all people except women and woman-aligned or feminine-aligned non-binary people. This orientation is mostly used by non-binary people to describe their attraction without relying on the gender binary, but it can be used by anyone. The term can be used as a sexuality on its own or can be combined with other orientations. Most people consider Uranic to be the opposite of Neptunic.
Time to read the headlines. I am Jazz star Jazz Jennings regrets early gender transitioning. I don't know where people are coming up with this idea that I regret my early gender transitioning. I have no regrets whatsoever. I am an out and proud woman. I love being me. I love my body. I love everything about being a woman. And that's just who I am.
Your natural sounding femme voice is somewhere between ah and A way I like to get students to feel this sound is almost like wow, Luigi, or Linda from Bob's Burgers, which is like, oh, Bobby. And your voice is somewhere between that and a really, really breathy, really light voice. It's somewhere in the middle. You want to have a mixture of the both of them. So something that can help you get started with this is try to channel the Waluigi. Try to and talk like that. Just use an R sound. And try to slide it to a breathy sound. Or then when you find the middle of it, then try to speak in that and see how you go.
Hi, Dr. Tony here, and a lot of people ask, what's recovery like after top surgery? Well, the whole recovery phase takes about 2 months. The majority of the work happens in the first 6 days. On the day of surgery, you get to go home and relax. 3 days post-op, you come back and you get these guys out. These are gravity drains, a little snip, and they actually slide right out of the wound. No pain, just feels a little bit odd. Then you get to go home with the binder again because you're compressing and holding the tissue into place while it's healing. 6 days later, the binder comes off permanently. And you know what? You'll never have to wear it again. At that time, we take the nipple graft bolsters off, and we take a look at the nipple grafts, and then we take the tape dressings off of the incisions that were sterile to begin with. Amazing. You're going to keep the nipple grafts moist for another couple of weeks, come back in and see me 3 weeks post-op, and if everything is as expected, which 99.9% of the time it is, then you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs waiting for your body to heal. At 4 weeks is when you can start raising your arms above what I call airplane mode. It's 90 degrees from here to here. That's your limit for 30 days. Then after that, you can slowly increase. And by 60 days, you can be at full extension because you got about 75 to 80% wound strength. At that point in time, you're back to a normal life. Start working out the way you want to, and literally, you're unrestricted in your activities. And guess what? You're done.